What's up guys, this is Ultimate iDevice Vids, and today in this video we're going to be doing a battery drain test between the iPhone 13 Pro Max, the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So the latest 3 generations of Pro Max devices. As usual, a few things before we get started. True Tone, Night Shift, and Auto Brightness are disabled on all 3 of these devices. And just to let you guys know, on the 13 Pro Max we will be using the 120Hz display refresh rate capability throughout this test. As you can see, the limit frame rate option is disabled in the settings, meaning that the display refresh rate can go up to 120 Hz depending on what you're doing. And this is the way these devices are configured straight out of the box, so that's how we're going to leave it throughout this test. Also, the battery health is listed as very high on all 3 of these, as you can see, and they're all running the latest iOS version as of recording this video, which is iOS 15.0. The brightness on all 3 of these devices is set as close to the same as I could get using a light meter, and the volume is turned down on all of them. And alright, so with all devices charged to 100%, we're going to go ahead and turn off the power strip that these 3 devices are connected to. We'll get rid of the power cables, and let's kick things off with 1 hour of YouTube video streaming. So we're going to load up the very same YouTube video on all 3 of these devices, and we're going to make sure it's set at 1080p quality and that it's full screen on all of them, and we're just going to let it stream for an hour. And checking in after a full hour of YouTube video streaming, the iPhone 11 Pro Max is at 100% still, the 12 Pro Max is at 99%, and the 13 Pro Max is still at 100% as well. Next, we're going to head on over to Instagram for an hour of looking at stories and posts. For the first 10 minutes, we're going to be looking through stories, and for the remainder of the hour, we're just going to be scrolling through posts. And I just want to take a moment to say that, of course, there's a variety of varying factors that contribute to how your battery life is going to be. Factors like what you do on your device, the age of the battery in your device, processes that you might have running in the background, the brightness of your screen, cell signal strength, all play a very big role in how your battery life is going to be. And of course, I'm controlling as many of these variables as I can to get the most accurate results. All 3 of these devices are set up to create the closest thing to a level playing field as I could get. Once again, the brightness is set equally on all 3 of these devices, and there's no SIM cards in any of these phones to create a level playing field in regards to cell signal strength drainage. So definitely keep in mind that in the real world, of course, results can certainly vary all over the place. But even in a hyper-controlled test like this, there's still going to be minor variables that kind of throw off each device a little bit. So rather than interpreting these videos as hyper-detailed percent point by percent point analysis, you should interpret these videos as just gauging overall battery performance on these devices in relation to one another. And checking in after a full hour of Instagram, the 11 Pro Max is at 93%, the 12 Pro Max is at 91%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 95%. So pretty minor differences between these 3, with the 13 Pro Max being in the lead, followed by the 11 Pro Max, and then by the 12 Pro Max. But once again, a pretty negligible difference overall. So next up, we're going to head on over to Minecraft for 1 hour of gameplay. So we're just going to get into the game here and play it for an hour. And checking in after a full hour of Minecraft, the 11 Pro Max is at 67%, the 12 Pro Max is at 69%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 73%. So once again, very similar results here. So next, we're going to head on over to Safari, and we're going to do 1 hour of web browsing. So we're going to be loading new web pages and scrolling through web pages for an hour. For the first 30 minutes, we're going to be doing this on apple.com, and for the second 30 minutes, we're going to do this on theverge.com. And checking in after a full hour of web browsing, the 11 Pro Max is at 58%, the 12 Pro Max is at 60%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 66%. So pretty similar results once again, with the 13 Pro Max remaining in the lead. Next, we're going to head on over to Subway Surfers for 30 minutes of playing the game. And after 30 minutes of Subway Surfers, once again, the same trend is continuing here, as you can see, with the newer devices having the advantage going straight down the line. But once again, the gap between all these devices still remaining pretty small. Next, we're going to head over to Temple Run for 10 minutes of playing the game, with ads appearing in between each round. This leaves the 11 Pro Max at 52%, the 12 Pro Max at 54%, and the 13 Pro Max at 61%. Next up, we're going to head on over to PUBG for 1 hour of playing the game. So we're going to get into the application and start a match and just play for an hour. And after a full hour of playing PUBG, the 11 Pro Max is at 38%, the 12 Pro Max is at 40%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 50%. So a little bit of a bigger gap between the 13 Pro Max and the other 2 devices is starting to show around 10%. But anyways, with the first round of the battery test complete, we're going to head back to YouTube for another hour of video streaming. We're going to stream the exact same video, once again, 1080p quality at full screen for an hour. And checking in, this leaves the 11 Pro Max with 32%, the 12 Pro Pro Max also with 32%, and the 13 Pro Max at 45%. So with the difference between the 13 Pro Max and the other two devices widening a little bit more, we're going to head back to Instagram for another hour of looking at stories and posts. And once again, for the first 10 minutes, we're going to be looking at stories, and for the remainder of the hour, we'll be looking at posts. And after another hour of Instagram checking in, the 11 Pro Max and 12 Pro Max are tied yet again, this time at 25%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 38%. So next, we'll head on over to Minecraft for our second hour of playing the game. And after another hour of Minecraft, the 11 Pro Max and 12 Pro Max are tied yet again, this time at 4%, while the 13 Pro Max is at 17%. So we'll head on over to Safari for our second hour of web browsing, once again for the first 30 minutes on apple.com, for the second 30 minutes on theverge.com. And midway through the web browsing test, the 12 Pro Max's display automatically readjusted and dimmed itself to a much lower level. And I've noticed that this occasionally happens on iPhones when they're at 1% to try to conserve as much battery as possible. So I did attempt to readjust the brightness back up to the level of the other devices to continue things, as even as possible. And midway through recalibrating the brightness back up to the standard amount for the test, the 12 Pro Max dies at 9 hours and 11 minutes into the test. And I apologize for the lights being dimmed for a moment. That was just when I was trying to recalibrate the display. But anyways, just a few seconds later, the 11 Pro Max also dies at 9 hours and 12 minutes in. And alright, so with the 13 Pro Max being the only device left standing, we'll close out the remainder of this hour of web browsing. And checking in after an hour of web browsing, the 13 Pro Max is at 10%. So we're going to head back to Subway Surfers for our second 30 minutes of playing the game. And this leaves the 13 Pro Max with 7%. So we'll head back to Temple Run for our second 10 minutes of playing the game with ads appearing in between each round. And this leaves the 13 Pro Max with 5%. So we'll head back to PUBG for our second scheduled hour. And 10 hours and 55 minutes into the test, the 13 Pro Max finally dies. So there you guys have it for the battery drain test. So without a doubt, all three of these devices are absolute tanks in regards to battery life, and really you can't go wrong with any of them. And next up, I want to run a 12-hour standby test. So this tests how well these devices are able to hold a charge while asleep. But once again, as I said earlier, this test also largely depends on a whole host of factors. Things like how many notifications you're getting on your device, once again, background processes, cell signal strength, etc. This example is just a very, very controlled test. All devices are connected to the same Wi-Fi network. There's no SIM cards in any of these phones, and they all have the very same notification settings configured on all of them. So with all devices charged back to 100%, we'll go ahead and turn off the power strip that these devices are connected to. We'll get rid of the cables, and we'll put all devices to sleep, and we'll just start a stopwatch and check back in 12 hours. And checking in after a full 12 hours, the 11 Pro Max is at 100%, the 12 Pro Max is at 99%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 100%. But alright everybody, that just about wraps it up for this video. If you guys use any of these devices, let me know down below in the comment section how the battery performance has been for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.